Hey guys, Tyler here again. So, if you don't knew or didn't listen to the last episode, we broke up our last recording session into two shows. So, the last episode a couple days ago was about the Ubisoft Forward event, and this is everything that else happened this week. So, if you guys want to hear our thoughts on the Ubisoft Forward, go back and check those out. If not, you want to hear everything else from us, here you go. Hope you guys enjoy and have a good day. But moving on to some other topics here. Did you see we have the previews came out for the Paper Mario Origami King?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Have you?
Well,
Did you?
honestly, I haven't really seen too much of the reviews or anything on it.
Well, there's no review. It's just the previews, but
Oh,
stuff
preview?
came out.
No,
Yeah.
I didn't really
Uh,
see too much of the preview about it.
all right, Gables. I'm growing concerned. Once
Oh,
again,
really?
I'm growing concerned because it's like, it sounds like Color Splash, all too, to me. Where like they don't have XP or a leveling system, and there's no teammates again.
Okay.
I don't. I don't like that. I don't. I guess like that's kind of what I want. Is like it's an RPG game, and I like I want a reason to battle and like make that make sense. Like because there's gonna be random battles in this game, and like why am I fighting if there's no gain from doing it? And that was my issue with like Sticker Star and Color Splash. Um, I don't know. I mean, I don't know, Gables. The more I hear about this, the more I'm not liking it. But I'm much like the Ubisoft games. I'm holding out hope. But I guess what are you
Well,
looking for in the new Paper Mario game? What do you want out of it?
honestly, what I'm looking for in a new Paper Mario game, fun gameplay, decent story. Doesn't have to be the best. Doesn't have to be original. But I want to have fun while playing it. That's pretty much what I want to do.
Okay, I didn't know if there's something specific that you're looking for.
It
I
wasn't.
don't know.
There's nothing like really anything specific. The Paper Mario series, hell, I love the first three Paper Mario games that I played. The original, Thousand Year Door, and Super Paper Mario, because
That was
all
a
of
good one too.
those,
Yeah.
it didn't matter whether or not it was an RPG or it was like a platformer or whatever the hell it was. They had a memorable story. They had fun elements that I enjoyed playing. I mean, hell, there were some great moments I had with playing Super Paper Mario where I kid you not, there was one chapter where I had to run in a hamster wheel, I kid you not, for like almost like about 10 minutes just to earn enough freaking points so I can get past a certain door. That was actually pretty hilarious now that I think about it, because what I literally did back then is I held my D-pad in the left direction, put my input, I was watching TV for like 10 minutes, and all of a sudden I put back into that.
That's smart. Smart.
Well, hell, if I have to really sit and like let the game do something, I'm going to distract myself before that. But yeah, man, it's whenever I'm playing a Paper Mario game, I want to have fun. I want to have memorable moments and witty dialogue and all that other stuff. Personally,
Yeah.
but what about you?
I don't know. My thing is just like like I enjoyed Super Paper Mario as well, and obviously love Thousand Year Door. But it's like, I don't know, like it's just like they have the RPG turn-based style of that game. It's just like it feels like they make that whole part pointless of doing. Like if you're not, there's no monetary gain or anything from doing it, then why am I doing? I mean, I understand there's boss battles and shit like that. Like that makes sense, but I just don't foresee like why like I feel like I can see myself like at first liking it, like their play style they have with like you turn the stage around, but it's just like I don't like, if there's gonna be random battles in this and stuff like that, it's like that's just gonna bother me and upset me, um because it's like there's no purpose for doing these. Like I'm gonna avoid doing them. It's just like, imagine if there was you played a Pokemon game with no levels, it's just like you're just playing Pokemon. Like
Hmm.
that's the way I look at it. It's like playing, that game, playing Pokemon without experience points. That's like I would. I mean, I love the Pokemon games. I enjoy them, but it's like a big part of the reason playing the game is, is progressing your levels, and that's a big part of RPGs. Is that, and it's like I don't know. I just don't get it. But I don't know. I know it's mostly, I don't know. I know it's for kids and shit. So maybe I'm taking it too seriously. But I want it to be good. I hope it's good. I'm like, it's much like that stuff, the Ubisoft stuff. It's like I'm gonna wait and see what people say about it. But I don't know. Um, I'm gonna take the wait and see first. I have it pre-ordered already, but I'm gonna. It's depending on what people say in the reviews. Like I might just cancel that as well. But I don't want to because I really want to play that game because I need to play a goddamn fun game here because I've been playing a lot of dark games recently, and it's exhausting. But sticking with Nintendo, there is rumors, Gables. There's rumors it might happen. It's been over 10 months. We might get a Nintendo Direct on July 20th. Be our first one since September of last year, not including the mini ones. Um, this is coming from Video Game Chronicles news leak. This is from an article from them as well, saying that there might be to be a direct on the July 20th. This information comes from a known leaker, Kelios, I believe is how you say it. They're the ones that they post this news on a Reset Era forum. Kelios previously correctly reported on other Nintendo related streams. He also he said that there was going to be a Direct Mini back in March. He had the date correct and everything that it was going to happen. He said it 6 weeks in advance as well that we were going to have that Nintendo Mini Direct in March, and it ended up obviously happening. I believe he also said something about he leaked the Paper Mario game too, I want to say, or about we'll be getting news for that soon. But yeah, are you buying? Where are you at on this? Are you buying this? Or is it wishful thinking, or is this a no go?
I look at it this way: when Origami King releases, Nintendo, there isn't hardly anything in regards to what we have to look forward to towards the end of the year in regards to September, October, November, just really much of the rest of the year. Deadly Premonition 2 is already out. Origami King is going to be releasing in a couple of days.
Yep.
So we know next to nothing about what's coming out in the fall. It honestly does enforce the idea that we may hear more about Nintendo in terms of a direct soon. I take this news with a grain of salt, even though he has been correct a couple of different times. I would personally would love to see Nintendo come out with a direct, but I'm half and half on it. I think that it's wishful thinking to think, okay, they're gonna go ahead and announce something around a week after the Origami King releases. But we'll wait and see. We've already waited 10 months for a class, like an actual Nintendo Direct style, without being a mini or in regards to a specific gaming franchise like Smash Brothers or Paper Mario or whatsoever. So who knows?
Yeah.
What do you think?
I can't say because I think I am like too much like of wishful thinking and hoping that I can't give an honest answer. But I don't know. I think you're. That's a good way of putting it too. Where it's like we have no idea. Like we know like Bravely Default 2 and No More Heroes 3 is scheduled for this year sometime.
Mm-hmm.
But like you said, Deadly Premonition 2 is out now. Yeah, Paper Mario comes out on Friday. So it's like we're in. I mean, when's the last time we've been in this boat where we didn't know what else to look forward to past this?
Yeah.
I don't think we've been in this situation since probably since the Switch came out. Where it's like we've always known like multiple games are coming like not too far after this, and like big games too. Like it's a Mario or it's a Donkey Kong or it's a it's a Wii U port or something. We've always have something else on the horizon. And it's like we have nothing right now. It's like we have rumors of the 3D Mario stuff. We have maybe we'll get an announcement soon for the next Smash character, but it's like we got nothing. So I'm in that way. It's like yeah, man, it's got to be real. And that's what my mindset's at. It's like it's got to be real because of that. But it's like I mean they don't. It's Nintendo. It's like they're the most uncharacteristic, hardest to pinpoint what they're gonna do. Like they're always gonna do their own thing, regardless of if what makes sense to us or not. They're always gonna do it. What they want to do when they want to do it, and for better or for worse. So, I don't know. Well, I'm hoping. I mean, imagine if it's happening, we'll hear something. I mean, I guess it could be a mini direct too, but they're not saying it's gonna be a mini direct. So, what's July 20th? But that's a Saturday though. Have we ever had a direct on a Saturday?
Not sure.
I don't. I mean, I don't. I guess I don't know without looking it up, but it could happen. And we probably hit to hear something by Thursday. So I think if we don't hear something by, I'd say Friday morning, maybe at the latest, it's not happening.
Normally they announce the day before.
Yeah, you well
Or
sometimes two
yeah,
days. I think at the most 2 days is before. So I would assume by if we don't hear something by Friday morning, it's not going to happen. But I'm hopeful. I am, and like I said, I can't say one way or not. I'm gonna try to be positive about this. I'm gonna hope it is, and I'm gonna go full bore and buy into it. It's happening, but I'm ready to be for my heart to be broken. But yeah. But moving on to we got a block of some Xbox stuff here to talk about. So um, this for sure is happening. Xbox is having their Xbox Series X showcase on July 23rd. I talked about it last week. That was the rumor. I incorrectly said it'd be the. I was like, no, there's no way. It's gonna be the 21st or 22nd, or the 20th or the 21st. But 23rd is actually the date. I don't give us like. I think we're both looking forward to this as far as like what's gonna be. But what do you see happening at this? Do you think we're gonna get um, you think we'll see? You think we'll get the Lockhart thing, or do you think we'll get a date? You think we'll get a price, or do you think this will be strictly games?
I feel this is going to be strictly games, and the validity for that, I feel that Microsoft needs to show, without a shadow of a doubt, games, first party games that are going to be available for Series X starting day one. I know they're still working on exclusive stuff. However, if they have a strong showing with Halo Infinite, I feel that's going to be a great step in the right direction for where they want to go. As far as anything else that may potentially be announced inside of this, I don't feel personally we are going to hear anything about a price. I feel that we're still a little bit away from it. I got the feeling from when they announced this initial first party reveal in terms of games and this and that that's going to be strictly games only. Who knows? We may see Lockhart. I'm not sure. But there are definitely a couple of rumors that have been passing around through the grapevine in regards to Microsoft, in regards to Fable, in regards to Perfect Dark. I've been hearing nothing concrete. A lot of things being, a lot of things you need to take with a grain of salt, obviously. But yeah, there are definitely some high expectations going inside of Microsoft's conference, their whole direct that they're doing. But yeah, I feel that Halo Infinite will definitely need to be impactful. Definitely will need to be the cornerstone of what they're going to do.
Yeah. Um, I'm in agreement. I don't think we'll get anything. I think this will be games, and I think it needs to be. I think like I saw like I didn't watch it, but it was a YouTube video, and it's like this might be Xbox's biggest event ever. Since they announced the original Xbox with The Rock, oddly enough. But and I think I agree. Where it's like I'm not saying it's gonna go away or anything like that. I'm not worried. Like they're not gonna. It's the thing's gonna sell great. It's gonna do fine. But I mean, you look at. I mean, we talk about all the time. This generation, they were destroyed by PlayStation. I mean, Xbox One did fine, but it's like PS4 just did out crazy numbers. I mean, the fact that like the rumors have it that the Switch has already outsold the Xbox One,
Yes.
and it's been on the market for less years. Um, is incredible. This say the least for them. And it's like you look at. I mean, it's the biggest issue this year or this generation has been games, and it's like we keep talking about. It's like they relied heavily on their old franchises. I can't think of a like Sea of Thieves might be their biggest franchise that they created this year, and I mean it's fine. It's out there. It's got an audience, but it's not anything world changing. No one's buying a console to play it. But it's like they I think they've gotten 12 new studios. They've announced they purchased in the last 3 years, I think. So I won't be surprised they announce a couple of new ones. And we'll have more on that later after this. But
I am in
yeah,
agreement with you that this conference that they're going to have is definitely one of their most important ones they've had in quite some time. I'd argue that it's just as important as when they revealed the Xbox 360 back in the day.
yeah,
Because the significance of the Xbox 360 definitely influenced gaming systems and definitely the gaming industry for years after its
yeah,
release.
that's a good point too.
Granted,
Because
it stumbled out of the gate, but it was purely the infrastructure and where gaming would eventually go, where you have all the mainstream stuff for console online stuff, the subscription services and stuff because of Xbox Live and everything else. Whereas towards the end of the Xbox One generation right here, we're seeing introductions in terms of like Game Pass and this and that. I feel that the Series X and this upcoming thing is going to be as important as what the 360 was back then.
Yeah, I mean, and we know how important these events can be. Where you look at their Xbox One events last generation, we talk about it over and over again. But it's like everybody. I think for the most part, Microsoft had the lead going in to this current generation as does PlayStation right now, and it's just like they went in and they completely fucked up the whole message from the get go, where they didn't focus on the games, they focused on being a media box, and then they with the whole being online all the time, and then it's $100 more, and the Connect. It's like you guys totally lost it. It's like they know that now, and they know they got to kill it, and I think they will. I think they can. I think, but now is the time when they just like they need to go. There's rumors that they're gonna hold some stuff back because they're gonna announce the rumor is the Lockhart and there's like the prices and all that will be revealed in August, and that's the same time that PlayStation has a rumored state of play in August, where like they got like PlayStation held some shit back too, and they're gonna show it off then and give the price and the date and all that. So I think this will be game, but it's they gotta show it off. They gotta kill it, and it's like it's gotta be more than Halo. As great as it'd be awesome if Halo was as big as it was back then when Halo 3 came out. Because like I remember I worked at a game store and that came out, and that was fucking huge. It was a fucking, like I've talked before, it was a holiday. Just like when the new Call of Duty would come out, and when I was in the early 2000s when I was a kid, like Madden was a holiday, in a way where it's like it was one of the biggest game releases every year. It still is to a certain extent, but it's not mainstream like like Call of Duty or Halo was back in the day, or even Gears was back. Like when their first party games dropped, it was a fucking day. You knew it was coming. They built it up. It was everywhere. Like you couldn't watch a sports event without seeing commercials for it everywhere. And it's just like, and I know they still do sporting events, but it's just like it doesn't have that mainstream pull anymore now. Halo is just another video game franchise that's out there. Like it's a popular one. It does well. It's bigger than most stuff out there, but it's like it's not that it's not that event it used to be. And I hope it brings me. I'm not a Halo guy. I know you just went through and beat all the Halo games, and I enjoy the Halo games. I here and there. I pick up and choose from here and stuff. But it's like I would love to look forward to this game. I want to play this game. I hope it looks badass. I hope it's great. I hope the fans from back in the day and the current ones love this new one. But it's got to be more than that. Even as good as even best case scenario for Halo, and they killed it, and it's great. It's awesome. It's not gonna be enough. You need more. You need new franchise. You need new blood. There's gonna be a Forza game. We know that. You need more. And that was the biggest issue they had with this generation, where it's like they lean too hard on they lean entirely on the ones they had from last generation, the previous generation, the generation for that. Or it's Halo, it's Gears, it's Forza, and they tried other stuff and didn't land. And I'm hoping even the third party stuff, like they hired people to make games for them that didn't land. Like there's a Platinum game that got canceled. There's the Sunset Overdrive. There's the Dead Rising stuff. It's like it just didn't land or wasn't as big as I thought it would be. And they mean that, like we talked about for years, they have built this awesome library of like they've done the best stuff for consumers, and it's just like with the Game Pass and the backwards compatibility and all that. But it's just like they're missing the main ingredient of having the best console, and that's the games. And it's like I hope they come out and they show all these badass games from these companies they've shown them. I'm super pumped for the new Hellblade game. Like I love the first one, and I hope there's some other cool shit out there. There's the rumor that there's the new Fable game that's gonna be shown off, which I mean that's concerning to a certain extent, where it's like that's what I'm talking about. You're leaning too hard on these names, but if you can bring it back in a big way, like Fable 2 was back in the day, where that was a big fucking deal when it came out. And not fuck it up like you did with Fable 3, then that's awesome too. Like because I loved Fable 2 back in the day, and Fable original was really good too. But yeah, I don't know. I hope they kill it. I want them to kill it. I want a reason to buy the Series X eventually. I've said I'm bored. I've got the Xbox One X. I'm just gonna and I could play these games on that. But I'm gonna wait it out. But I want to, you know what's coming from like the future, and like I hope so hard that they fucking kill it. And I want to be pumped. I want to be excited. Like, I want that awesome badass feeling that I had during the PlayStation 5 event we had last month, where it was like banger after banger after banger.
Oh yeah.
And there's some games that came out like, yeah, okay, whatever. That could be cool, but it's just like I want that feeling from Xbox, and that's something we haven't had for a long time. It's just like something I complain about every year with their E3 is like we have the most games ever for an E3 event. It's like we have 80 something games to show off. It's like, who gives a shit? It's like PlayStation showed 4 or 5 games that one year. They showed 5 games one year, and it was way better than what Xbox did when they showed up 80 something. It's like no, it's all like I'd rather have 5 awesome games come out of it than like 80 fucking games that just showed up. You show off to me for 30 seconds, and then like here's a couple big games, but it's like and they don't land. It's like focus on the cool shit. Don't show me 100 games. Show me a dozen games, or show me 8 games, or whatever you got. Like PlayStation showed off 24 games. It's like, and do that. That'd be fucking awesome. But someone said on Twitter today, I saw it. It's like kind of perfect way of how Nintendo's perfected the directs, where it's like they start off with a surprise or something big, and they end with a surprise or something big. And so you look at the PlayStation event we had, it started off with Spider-Man and Miles Morales and ended with Horizon 2. And it's like you need to have that. You need to have those 2 bangers to begin and end with, and have some good shit in the middle. But I think that's the most important thing is like fucking start with Halo and then end with something badass at the end or something. I don't know, but I'm hopeful. I really am. If you can't tell, I'm very hopeful that they fucking nail it. But moving on, sticking with like I said, we have a couple other things here to talk about for Xbox and Microsoft. But there's some talks out there that Xbox is interested in buying Warner Brothers or WB Games. So this came out here a few weeks ago that AT&T, who owns Time Warner and it's now Warner Media, is thinking about selling off the WB Games, which I believe is like it's like a dozen studios, I want to say. All in all, if people would buy the whole thing. But it's from we're obviously not the business people here, but it's pretty much a guarantee thing that it'll eventually be sold sometime, probably this year. But it'll include the main studios. There's a list. I can't find the list. I'm sorry, but the main thing coming out of this is that the main issue is that AT&T has like $154 billion in debt from buying Time Warner, and it comes comes with it had like Crunchyroll and DC Comics, HBO, WB Games, and a bunch of other smaller things in there. But other than that, it's thinking about it's going to be about $4 billion to buy all the studios. But Activision, Blizzard, EA, and Take-Two are also interested in buying this up. But what's going to come out of this, it sounds like, is the IP that you'll for sure get out of this is more combat. But you probably won't get the IPs like Batman or any of the DC stuff, or you won't get the Lego or the Lord of the Rings either. But you'll get all their studios as from it. So I don't know, Gables. Like, what's your thoughts on with potentially Xbox and Microsoft buying the WB studios?
That would definitely be a huge win for Microsoft in more ways than one. Not only would they get the talents in regards to the people that have contributed to games that we've loved and stuff, like the certain Mortal Kombat games, the Batman Arkham games, the Lego games, obviously. In terms of the IPs, I'm kind of wondering about that, because I know that Warner Brothers is selling off their studios, but will they allow Microsoft to actually use a lot of the IPs from, say, DC or wherever? That's going to be remaining to see. But, dude, wouldn't it be crazy if Mortal Kombat, a game that has been on multiple different systems, all of a sudden is just locked onto Microsoft systems?
Yeah, and I think that'd be the biggest thing is like if they can get DC exclusives to them. I mean, they wouldn't own it outright, but if they can get like a licensing deal with them, like, and that's the thing, like there's the Harry Potter game that's in the works that everybody knows about. It's been known about for years. There's all the there's the 2 DC games that are in works by WB Montreal and who does who did the Arkham games? What's the name of that studio? I'm blanking.
Rocksteady.
Rocksteady, and like their games. Apparently, both of those games are gonna be shown off sometime in August at the DC event. But I mean, if they can get all that exclusive to them, that's fucking awesome. But I mean, just if they get all these new studios like Rocksteady's, obviously got great pedigree. The TT Studios, which does all the Lego games, and then you got NetherRealms is like then the WB Montreal. You have to obviously have to rename them, but like you got some good caliber people there. But my main concern about buying that up is like if you don't, I mean, you'll probably, so it sounds like you'll get the Mortal Kombat, which is great because that's important. Like that could be exclusive. So like you have the Xbox has Mortal Kombat, but then Sony will have Street Fighter. So that'd be kind of cool if like then Nintendo has Smash if they all have their own big exclusive fighting game. But I think it'd be badass if they get that. That'd be a huge one for them. But you have these cool franchise, or you have these really great studios, but like it's unfortunate that like everything that you think about they worked on, it's like they're like licensed, they're popular IPs. Like you got Batman, you got the Lego shit, you got Mortal Kombat. The only thing that would suck the most is if the Injustice games goes away, because I like the Injustice the DC fighting games more than I like the Mortal Kombat games, honestly. But I mean, I think that's the most important thing about this is like if they can get a deal with them to like, hey, you guys buy these studios, beast, like, hey, you guys can also keep making Batman games. But I mean, I'd also love to see what they can do. Like maybe this is what we're talking about, like making new IP, creating new marketable IPs. I guess not to use a word, but if they can create that with these awesome studios, like these guys have proven they can make some great games, but if they can make it like their own IPs, that'd be fucking awesome as well. But it obviously would be easier to have have a slew of DC games and all, like I think it'd be important for the TT games to keep the Lego games. I think that's very important, like because that's what they do. That's what like I don't see them making their own like Lego ripoff thing. Like that was like Connects or whatever it was called back in the day, or was it the Blocks shit out there? I was like I don't know, but I'm all for this. I feel like you look at like okay, so Activision, EA, Take-Two are also interested in buying this. It's like if any of these companies are to buy it, I'd want Microsoft to be the one to buy it because I feel like they would, they have the patience and the biggest infrastructure, and they can take the hit probably more than these other companies are, where Microsoft's bigger than Xbox, and they can wait a while as they make new IPs or make new games because a lot of these are deep into the current games we're working on. So it'd be years and years away before we see something else from them from what they're currently working on. So I would, and also like obviously EA is, we don't want them to buy anything, like fuck off on that.
Yeah, no shit.
Like NetherRealm Games has a big enough issue with their fucking microtransaction stuff. I know it's not their fault, but their games like are horrible when it comes to that. So it's like I don't want Take-Two to get a hold of any of those games because I mean you look at their sports games shit like that. It's like anything they make in GTA, it's like riddled with microtransactions. Activision, we saw what they did to Destiny, and what they'll do with Call of Duty and shit. It's like they're gonna pump out games like crazy. They're not known for patience. So I hope that if anybody buys it, it's Microsoft because I feel like they will be the best for everybody there, and they'd have the most leeway and the ability to do what they want to do more than anybody else. But yeah, I don't know. Anything else you want to say on that one, Gables?
Nah, not really.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay. But you know what? Yeah, I'll talk about this one. So, Xbox apparently is trying to, reportedly trying to block people from charging for Series X upgrades. So this is something that's come out there. They have the smart delivery thing with, we talked about like Cyberpunk. You get if you buy it on Xbox One, you'll get a free upgrade to Series X. Madden's doing it as well, but they're doing. I mean, it sounds like PlayStation and Xbox are doing it. But it sounds like, and we're doing the same with Valhalla and Halo Infinite and all that, but sounds like they're trying to make it, trying to talk all their developers into doing this across the board, where they don't want people to charge for the upgrades. Something like we saw last generation, where it's like if you bought Battlefield, was it 4 digitally on 360, you could pay $10 and get it on Xbox One for $10 upgrade. Which I was okay with that going in this generation. I think a lot of people would be okay with this one. But like we talked about last week with 2K, speaking of Take-Two, or if you bought the PS4 version and you wanted the upgrade to PS5 without rebuying the whole thing over again, you had to buy the $100 edition. Um, so Xbox is trying to prevent people from doing that. Um, they're saying ultimately it's up to them to do it, but they're doing their best they can to prevent them from doing things like 2K is doing. So no real word if this is something they were trying to do after 2K announced this or before 2K is like talk to them and they still decided to go ahead and do this anyways. But I don't know. I mean, it's just like once again, it's like we talk about with like Xbox, Microsoft, like they've been killing it for consumers. You always hear like everything it seems like they do is the right thing to do for consumers. Like they're the first ones to talk about smart delivery. They're the and giving not making us pay 60 possibly $7 again for these games that we just bought on the last gen, or people like releasing a game a year later that came out, like say like Last of Us came out in 2013. They released it again on PS4 the following year. It's like they're like, no, we're not going to do that. It's like we're going to, you're going to get that game if you bought it on Xbox One, you're going to get it on Series X with no upgrade, no charge for an upgrade. But I don't know. I love the fact that this sounds like, if this is all true, that they're attempting to do this, and hopefully they can get to this work. I don't know if they'll get 2K to do it, but it's like I said last week, it's like if they fucking Madden can do it, I mean, it's nuts that 2K won't do it. But I don't know. It's just like, what was your thoughts when you heard this?
To be perfectly honest with you, I think it's pretty cool that Microsoft is going to want to make sure that people doesn't pay extra for some bits of the upgrades and stuff. But other than that, though, I really don't have too much other things to say about it. I'm glad that they are instilling what they feel they want to do to try to convince people. Hey, you buy the Xbox One version, you don't have to spend another $60 and stuff or $70 to freaking go and get the next one.
Yeah.
Or the same copy of the game you just bought.
Yeah, and I hope that definitely is the case and that works out. But I think it's finally time to jump into what we've been playing. Gables, do you want to go first? Or you want me to go first?
Tyler, you go first.
Okay. So Gables, I finally did it.
And what's that?
Took me 3.5 years, but I did it. I beat Resident Evil 7.
You beat Resident Evil 7, huh?
Yep. It was like last Wednesday. I mentioned, I think last week, it's like it was like $10 on a couple weeks ago on PS4, like a digital sale. So when I just rebought it, I bought it on there. I bought it like twice physically. Like I got it when it first came out on launch day, and I played. I thought I played more of it, but I only played like 2 hours of it when it first came out, and then I sold it, and then I bought it for like $20 like a year later, and then I never even bothered playing it, and I sold it. But went ahead, $10, bought it digitally, and I was just like, finally sat down and started playing it on Wednesday. Ended up beating it in one day, over like
Wow.
a couple sittings. But I ended up having the day off, and it's like I didn't even mean to really beat it, but it's just like I sat down and I played it for a couple hours, and I was like, I looked up, I loaded up my old save, my original one, and I was like, oh wow, I've already passed. I looked up, I was like 2 hours and like 5 minutes into my original save. I was like, oh wow, I've already passed this section, and I went back and I was like an hour and a half in to the game, and I've already passed by like a good chunk of time past that section where I was. So I ended up beating it. It took me like a little over 5 hours to beat, so it's not a very long game. I did put it on easy though, to be fair. So I just I just need to sit down and play this because like I was like my main thing was like I just wanted to beat it for Ghost and Paper Mario came out because like if I didn't beat it for that, it wasn't gonna happen. But yeah, I played it for a good couple hours, and I was like went online to see like how I'm like, well, I've already made it through like 2 sections of like I already faced 2 of the 3 family members. I'm like, I'm kind of curious like how far in this game I am. And I looked it up. I'm like, I'm already like past the halfway point. So I was like, I might as well keep playing it. And like next thing I know, I was at the final section and I beat the game. But I don't know, it's kind of the more like the way I felt about Resident Evil 3 was like, I liked it. It was good. I feel like maybe I would have liked it more if I would have played through and sat through and powered through it originally, back at the time. But it's like knowing the end, we're like, spoiler alert for a 3.5-year-old game, like Chris Redfield's at the end. But it's like, even when he shows up, it's not that big of a deal. It's like he shows up in a helicopter. It's like, hi, I'm Chris, and he hands you like a gun to help you kill the final boss, and like that was the end of the game, pretty much. And it's just like, oh, okay. But it's like that wasn't a big a deal. But I definitely I liked it. I enjoyed it. Like I wanted to play because like I was excited after the Resident Evil 8 trailer. Like I'm like, okay, I need to obviously played this because you play as Ethan again in that game. Um, but yeah, no, it was. I definitely liked it. I don't know if I liked it. I think I liked it more than 3, but I didn't like it as much as like 2. 2 was definitely a lot more fun for me. Um, but it's like I definitely had that. I would say probably a good hour of that playthrough is me. Like my biggest pet peeve still with these games is always like you can only carry so much stuff, and it's like the OCD of like, I don't man, I don't want to leave this behind. So like I'd constantly run back and forth from to my safe room, drop shit, run there, grab like going back to the room I was in where I couldn't pick all this shit up because my uh, my backpack was full, fill it up, run back to the safe room, and put my inventory back together how I wanted it. But it's like that was probably a good probably 15-20% of my game is doing that. But yeah, no, it was fun. The story is fine, but it's like I don't expect a killer story from a Resident Evil game. It's like that's not something to look forward to. But it's definitely probably better than it was better than Resident Evil 3. Resident Evil 3 story was barely there. The most chunk of that, the majority of that story was like you're being chased by the nemesis. But yeah, I don't know. It's like I guess I didn't know how to feel going into it. Whereas like I wasn't as hyped and excited for it as I was when it first came out in 2017. But I was like, I think in a way I was like, 3.5 years of waiting, I was like anticipating a little bit more than I got. But it's like, oh, okay, that was cool, that was fine. But that's I don't know, that's where I am. Like, I'm still excited for Resident Evil 8. Um, I think I'll always be excited for new Resident Evil games, but it's like, 2 is better. I'm saying it right now. Resident Evil 2 is better. But that's all I've been playing. I'm just like I had a couple hours to play games today, and I'm just like I don't really like have anything to jump into, or like something I want to jump into. So I just played Madden for a while because it's like I just don't want to jump. Like I'm waiting for Ghost. That's my next big thing is Ghost of Tsushima. But I was like I need something like I was like I just want something light and fun to play because like I have in the last like couple months like all I've played is Assassin's Creed 2, fucking Last of Us, Last of Us 2, Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed 7. So I played like a bunch of very dark zombie-esque games. So it's like I need like where's a like I'm like that's why a big reason why I hope Paper Mario is something I'm excited for and I like because it's like I need a fun, lighthearted game to play because God knows there ain't much fucking out. Like as far as gaming wise, I'm just like this is depressing and exhausting. It's like I need like a fun, colorful, exciting game to play because it's been a while, Gables. It's been a while. But what about you, Gables? What have you been playing?
A few games actually.
Oh, okay.
Like I've said before, we started this episode. I downloaded Bloodstained Curse of the Moon on my Switch. I started
Mm-hmm.
playing through half of that. The game isn't particularly long. It's the same length as like an original Castlevania game for, say, the NES, where you could legitimately beat it maybe in a few hours if you choose to. I mostly wanted to go back and play Bloodstained Curse of the Moon because of the fact that sequel released just last week. And I've heard a lot of good things about it, and so I wanted to reacquaint myself with it. Well, after I went through and played through half of the Curse of the Moon, I went ahead, bite the bullet, I bit the bullet, and I downloaded the sequel today.
Hmm.
And I played through half of that.
Nice.
What I really like from the get go, it's more the same of Curse of the Moon, which is a great thing. The sprite graphics, all of that's beautiful. Absolutely well done. I feel that from what Koji Igarashi and his crew did with this game, definitely on point to that of Castlevania games on the NES. One of his biggest inspirations, one of his favorite Castlevania games is Castlevania 3. And you see that abundantly inside of the Curse of the Moon style games. With the interchanging between different characters. In this game, you get the option of like 3 different characters, actually 4.
Hmm.
I've only come across 3 so far. With Zangetsu, the main guy that has a sword, and he also has a sub weapon that could be either a whip that whips into a specific direction, usually above him at an angle, or a flaming card, kind of like how Gambit from the X-Men goes through and tosses these cards and stuff that explodes. Well, it's sort of a similar thing with Zangetsu, only his bursts into flames and stuff at Demon's feet. But yeah, you have Zangetsu, which is sort of like the Simon Belmont or the Trevor Belmont character, all around good. Then you have a new character that her name is Dominique. She is from Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. She was someone who helped along with the church and stuff, so she has this spear. She has this spear that can hit multiple different directions, like either above, or if you hold the D-pad down, you can actually do a down spear attack on enemies or bounce off of particular projectiles or bounce off of particular things to get to other areas and stuff. I really love the implementation of her healing element. One of her sub weapon slots that she has this little plant, right? And when you use it, she grows a plant, and the plant drops health. So if one of your party members is low on health, you switch to her, use this sub weapon ability, switch to the other character, and gain health. Really love that. I've used it a couple times, but at the same point, it doesn't get overused because it's tied to the weapon points in total for all the characters that you have. You start off with 40. With the amount of candles you break, the flaming candles that you break along the way, you collect these little hearts. It replenishes your weapon points. I think it's either hearts or little bottles of potions or whatever the hell they are. But at the same time, we have another character that I want to talk about a little bit, and his name is Robert. Robert is a former soldier, also a comrade of Zangetsu. And what's interesting about him is he's a sharpshooter. He has long range attacks. He has his musket or his rifle, and he's able to snipe enemies from across the map, like across the screen. However, he's able to cling to walls, sort of similar to that of like Grant Dynasty from Castlevania 3. The only difference is with Grant, he can climb along the walls and on the ceiling, all this other stuff. But with Robert from Curse of the Moon 2, he's able to slide, like cling to a wall and then slide down periodically, but you're able to shoot across the screen and stuff and get enemies and stuff. I have yet to play through the entirety of Stage 3 with him. However, he has very low health, so I know I'm going to be switching between Zangetsu and Dominique. I haven't tried any of his sub-weapon stuff either, but from what I've played so far, and especially from the boss battles that I've incurred, man, the boss battles are interesting. Everything else just feels good about playing this game. It feels like an old classic NES game. It feels like, you know, a great action game that I would be able to replay over and over. Now, when I mentioned boss battles earlier, the first boss you come across is this sort of mix between a dragon and some sort of like demon hybrid, right? His patterns are simple. Quintessentially, he'll either attack from above or attack from below, and he has this like demon that spouts like shoots out from his mouth, right? And he has this gigantic beam or something just like fills the screen, and you have to whittle down his HP, his hit points, by attacking the tongue of the dragon. And when you do that, you chip things down. But everything else in motion with this game looks good. Really love the soundtrack. The chip tunes. Man, the chip tunes are on par. Really like that. It's more of the same of what I played in Curse of the Moon, which, honestly, Curse of the Moon, when it came out, was one of my top games of that year. It was really good. The sequels is more of that, plus then some with additional unique abilities. And I'm very excited to go through and play more of it. Now, with that aside, the next game is sort of almost the opposite, where I'm playing it, I'm having an alright time, I'm exploring things, I'm doing this and doing that and stuff. So quintessentially, I'm playing The Last of Us Part 2.
Ooh.
And I am 4.5 hours in. I already know a lot of the spoiler points, the various story points for those that are listening. So yeah, there will be a little bit of spoilers for those that's listening. If you want to go through and experience the game for yourself, by all means, skip past this point. But let's see. First time I played it was 6 days ago. I went through 2.5 hours. I got to the point. where Joel gets killed, obviously. And to be perfectly honest, that scene's pretty damn brutal. So I went ahead and skipped the scene anyway because I've seen it already a bunch of times. But honestly, there's a lot of exploration during the early parts of the game, and there's also a lot of there's just like a lot of build up. Sometimes I kind of feel while going through and exploring certain parts. It takes a while for there to be any type of action elements that I kind of feel, if you understand what I'm saying, Tyler, where it kind
Yeah.
of feels like you have a whole bunch of explorational elements where you want to go and you want to do what you want to do. Hell, I'm almost done with currently the first day or so in Seattle.
Oh,
I've already
downtown.
explored.
Was it
Yeah,
downtown Seattle?
downtown Seattle.
Yeah.
Yes. I spent at least a couple hours today going through the downtown Seattle. There were some cool elements of it. I did like learning a bit of the backstory upon the Feta, or not Feta, but like the Fedra soldiers and all that other conflict between them and the WLA, I want to say.
Oh, WLF, the Wolves.
Yeah, WLF, the Wolf. I like that little conflict and the whole backstory and behind that. To be perfectly honest with you, I kind of felt sort of bored when I was going through and exploring bits of the downtown Seattle, and that was because of the fact that action is so like few and far between. There are certain elements where you have to explore this one building where you're going to come across a lot of clickers and you're going to go through and you're going to do this and do that. However, if you're the type of person that doesn't want to do a lot of exploration and know exactly where you need to go, even then, I kind of feel like this downtown Seattle thing took a little bit longer than what it should have been, personally. And it's nothing in regards to, say, gameplay wise or that, but I kind of felt like it could have been, instead of this big elaborate like downtown like map, it could have been a little bit smaller in chunks to where I know exactly, okay, I can go here, go there, go here, go there, and stuff. Sort of linear, like. I kind of feel like this portion has that. This part of Seattle so far feels like it's supposed to be like this open world, this open map type of feel. This feeling that you're in this populated open world and you have to do this and do that. But honestly, it kind of confuses me because towards the beginning part of the game, it's very linear. You know what you got to do. You
Mm.
got to get to a specific area. Got to accomplish what you gone through. But all of a sudden, you are expanded into this. Expanded into downtown Seattle, where you're left on your own to explore. And while that's good, it feels. Oh boy, it feels kind of like a mix between. I kind of feel like I don't understand what they wanted to do with that type of change with it. If you understand what I'm saying, where you have a linear portion, then all of a sudden you have this explorable terrain where it leaves the feeling of it being like an open world sort of esque type of map, but at the same time, it feels like it is linear in a way, but it's just so huge that it really feels like it's more longer than it's welcome.
Hmm.
That's
Yeah,
how I kind of interpret it that way
yeah, I can
in
understand that.
regards to
Where it's
that.
like I definitely, I had like I talked about before. It's like I had like sometimes in these games I get like that OCD anxiety thing where I have to like search everything, and I'll do that. Like I'm happy I did those things, but I get there. I was like, you want to get to that next section of the game, and it's just like, but you also feel like you're obligated. It's like I should probably look to see what else is around here. So,
Right. So I've already come across a few safes.
mm,
I went through and cracked them. I've already gotten all those codes beforehand. I had searched the downtown Seattle thing thoroughly to where I found that paper to where they had all the codes, all the other intricate little details in that regards. And it was interesting going through and exploring those elements so that way I can get extra stuff to build, to customize my weapons. I finally am able to not only customize my starting like pistol and like my starting like pistol guns and stuff, my 8mm and whatsoever. But I was able to gain access to craft my own melee weapons. Don't have enough materials right now, but I do like so far that the gameplay largely remains the same as the original Last of Us. There are definitely some bits of improvements I have seen in regards to, say, the AI of your ally character. I mean, there are some things that I see improved by that, and by meaning the last time I played through The Last of Us, the original Last of Us, I would constantly see the AI of Ellie going in front of clickers and stuff like that and doing this and do that. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing in that regards? But I'm I am impressed by how the AI does help me out in terms of taking out certain clickers. Say, like, for example, Dina. If I'm going to go behind a clicker as Ellie and instantly stealth kill one, you have Dina that goes parallel to where I'm at and kills the other clicker right then and there. I'm like, oh, hey, that was helpful. That I liked. But let's see. So honestly, I feel like the gameplay aspect of it is okay. I like that it's more of the same in terms of customizing your weapons and doing that. Game looks beautiful. I mean, hell, I have nothing bad to say about the graphics in regards to The Last of Us Part 2. To be perfectly honest, I don't have anything really bad to say or anything really like great to say in regards to how I'm feeling right now. Because I'm still roughly not even 5 hours inside the game. It's still early. I still got a lot of chunk of game left to play. But at the same time, I kind of feel like I'm in the middle of it, where I have in the middle opinion. So, you know what? Hey, this is all right, but at the same time, this is not overly great. It's that happy medium so far. And you know what? There were some aspects where I've explored a little bit too much of the downtown Seattle area. I kind of felt bored in some aspects, but then again, I know it's going to be picking up fairly soon. So honestly, I'm glad that I'm giving this game a chance and that I'm going through, even regardless of knowing all the spoilers and all the other stuff for story elements, I still want to remain true to where I want to finish this game, and when that's going said and done, I want to express my overall honest thoughts about the game when I eventually do finish it. And hopefully I'll finish it before I get to Ghost of Tsushima, because that's a game I'm looking forward to playing
Yeah.
as well.
This one took me I think it took me 23, 24 hours to beat. But I mean, I explored. I didn't see it. I missed shit, but I explored almost everything in that game. So, if you want to go at a faster pace, you could probably beat it closer to that probably 16, 18 hour mark then. Because I probably spent a good 6, 8 hours just look. I mean, every room you went into, you went backtrack, make sure you didn't miss anything. So.
Right, by how I'm feeling with it, I feel like I want to explore every bit of this game because I want to get the details that I would not have seen, say, from someone else going through and playing it, or that wasn't spoiled in regards to, say, story-wise stuff. Because the thing that's important about games like an open world style game or an action game in general is you can know story elements about it, but what underlies deep inside of the structure of it is you will come across random moments inside the combat or in terms of the gameplay where you're going to really enjoy, and sometimes that outshines what presents to you from the story aspect of it. But honestly, other than that, I really haven't been playing anything else of note. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've been playing.
All right, man. It's cool though. I'm glad you're finally giving that a chance picking it up. But yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Going to hear more from us. We have a Facebook page group. We have a Twitter page, Twitch, YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. Check us out on those places by looking up Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast, Drunk Dash Nerds, Drunk Nerds. Like, join, subscribe, thumbs up, 5 stars, comment, share, whatever you can do, retweet, whatever you can do to help us, we really would appreciate. Also, twitch.tv/Colonel Gables. I know Gables has been doing some streaming this week, so give him a big follow on there as well. Appreciate you guys so much for listening to us. I was Tyler.
Now, I've been Colonel Gables, so until next time, everyone, hope you have yourself a good week, work your ass off, but most importantly of all that, thank you for listening to another fun-filled episode of the Drunk Dash Nerds Podcast.
Hey, Gables.
Yep.
Too sweet.
Too sweet, man.
Bye, guys.
See ya.